That was my first experience of just realizing that there won't be any ferries for 2 days because the weather decided there won't be any ferries.
My actual home base from my childhood didn't feel like home all the time. I always felt like I have to search for something else, and was mostly all about people.
For me as a person, it's really important to just be in the landscape every day, to take part in the weather and wind and everything. It makes me feel alive.
Each podcast episode features a special product, this time 2 enamel pins of unique birds based on illustrations by my guest Erika Åberg. Find all the details in the shop. Erika,
Yeah,
nice to have you here.
thank you so much.
Can you remember how we met?
We met when you were visiting, and I was going to have a book presentation at a yarn store in Visp. So that was our first meeting, I think. And I was actually I just popped in to buy a cup of coffee before my book presentation, and I saw you knitting. Yeah.
And I saw you and I didn't recognize you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was was it September, October?
It was November.
November, yeah.
22.
Yeah, it was.
So almost 3 years ago.
Yeah. Time.
And now we are here on Gotland.
And your house?
Yeah, in my house here. And your husband, when I moved here in September, your husband talked to somebody about me when we were, I don't know where we were, but he was there, I was there, and somebody else asked, who is this? And he said, well, Erika kind of collected her. I was like, aha, that's how it went. I had another story in my head, but that's his side of the story.
You know, nice things, you want to keep them. And nice people, even more so.
So do you collect a lot of people?
No, not a lot. But, you know, the gems, you would like to keep them close.
So you moved here around 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. 2014, 1st of August.
So 11 years already.
Yeah, yeah.
How did it come that you decided to move to this island?
We lived here, just my husband and I, for 25 years ago almost, because he had been studying archaeology in Visp. And I'd never been here properly before that. I had been here as a musician during the summer weeks, but then I've only been to Visp, and during medieval week and playing early music and so on, you visit a festival, you don't visit Visp, or Gotland. So when we met, my husband and I, and he asked me if I wanted to come along to move with him to Visp, because we went to another school where we met. Then I was really excited to see how island life would be. And that was 25 years ago. So we lived here for about 6 months, and I really wanted to return. So it was kind of a dream, and then it became a plan, and then it became our home. So basically 25 years of planning and waiting to get back.
So you were here for 6 months, then you went back to the mainland?
Yeah.
And then it took like 10 years.
Yeah.
14 years in between. Yeah. So what made you move then?
Well, I think it was...
What was the turning point, the decision point?
Well, I think we probably made a decision, by heart anyway, when we moved. You know, sometimes you really need to just realize that I will be able to come back, because otherwise you won't be able to leave at all.
Okay.
So I kind of realized that we will be able to come back. And then my husband went to university, and he had his doctor's degree in archaeology, on Gotlandic archaeology. And I also had, education and so on. And then the perfect moment in some ways arose, and then we managed to get somewhere to live, and everything just fell into place. But I mean, we had thought about it for such a long time, and it wasn't a hard decision. It was a big decision, but not a hard one. So it felt good and natural. And then on the other hand, we moved back here with 2 children. So that was more of a challenge, but more on a practical level than the level of the soul and heart and so on. So, yeah.
But in the end, you moved for the soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I read your books, it's really clear. And,
yeah. And the sense of place and belonging and everything. So it wasn't a hard decision at all. It was more of a puzzle to make everything work out, but it felt really natural and right. Yeah.
When I moved here last year, and also the times I was here before, I always had this moment when I put my feet on the island.
Yeah.
You know, this first moment when you get off the plane or the ferry.
Yeah.
When you kind of have this big breath, it's like, and everything in yourself is like relaxing, and you just feel this sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Do you have that too?
Yeah, and I still do.
Every time?
Yeah, I do. And I just got home 2 days ago from a work trip to the mainland, and I realized that I still do. And that's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very, very grateful about that.
Can you describe it? What happens or why it happens? Because I heard a lot of people saying that, but nobody has an explanation. No,
I think it's probably... I mean, it's kind of a really deep sense of belonging, and I think it's interesting because it's on so many levels. You know, you're a music person as well, and it's kind of a resonance of the soul with the place, and it's like a tone in me that it sounds really strange, but it's something that really talks to me, and it feels very easy to be here. And I haven't really been able to find a one thing. I think it's probably several things, but we have the closeness to the nature and the sea, and the sea is, I mean, it's ever changing, but it's also the same all the time.
There.
Yeah. And I think that those some constants that are really important to me as a person, and it resonates really well with me as a person. And I mean, I actually met a man a couple of weeks ago who said he really wanted to stay here, but he didn't because it was too much sky and too much horizon. And I was like, oh, you're like a unicorn. You're very special. And he just thought that he couldn't find a place for him to belong in this landscape, sort of. So, but he enjoys coming here. But he said, I will probably never be able to live here.
He's not relaxing here.
No, it's challenging him every day, and for me, it's really calming. So that was really interesting, and I've never thought about it that way, because I can also feel that I belong in other landscapes, but this is something else. And I think that's also, well, it feels natural, but it still feels, after more than 10 years, it still feels kind of new. Also, I can still really appreciate my daily walks and the colors and the light and everything, because the light here is so different from where I grew up.
The light here is different from anywhere.
Yeah,
it's so special.
Yeah, so I still feel this everyday excitement, and I'm very grateful for that.
But maybe it's exactly the way of living here, as you said. It feels so easy.
Yeah.
Maybe I have the same feeling. Maybe it's because we're so far away from everything else, and just surrounded by water.
Yeah.
It seems like there's everyday problems and there's world problems, but in some way, it seems it's so far away.
Yeah.
And it's not so important as it was before when I lived on the mainland or somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is what it makes it so special or so light.
Yeah. And I mean, we have the outlines of the islands, and it makes it at such a special place. You know the borders, you know the sea. It's simple in one way to grasp it all. And I've felt over the years also that people are very used to solving problems by their own, and the aspect of solving things together is so important here. It's so obvious. You can't sit and wait or whine. You just need to, if you want something to happen, you need to fix it together. And that sense of togetherness is also very important, I think. And it makes a place strong and kind when you know that you depend on each other, you need each other. So I think if you approach a place like this being humble and gentle and just listening, and of course with a wish to belong, I think it's fairly simple to be welcomed into the local society and so on. And that's, I think that's very special as well.
And it's also a lot of people who didn't grow up here, who just moved here because they really wanted to be here. So it's also really
they chose
special.
To come here.
Yeah. It's a big decision.
And I mean also the aspect that if you are really proud of something, you want to share it. And I think that is very obvious. You really want to share this place with people that understand. Yeah.
So the unicorn left.
Yeah. No, he works here every 1 week every month. But he said he will just return here now and then. He won't stay forever.
Oh my God.
It's a really nice unicorn, but it was so nice because he had put so much thought into this because he really wanted to enjoy being here. And he was like, you go into the sea, you actually go into the sea during the winter. And I could see he was kind of scared.
Well, but I'm the same if I think about that.
Yeah, but that's more about the cold, I think. He was more of, you get into this wide, wild. That's interesting. But it's nice. But a nice
kind
unicorn.
Of poor guy that he can't enjoy what this magical island has to offer.
Yeah, it's all this sky, it's all this horizon.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So I guess he felt like really small, and I really enjoy the perspective, and I think that the perspective of the perspective is also kind of an important thing about being here. You're very small if you compare to the sea and the sky. It's a humbling experience in a powerful way, I think.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah,
everything else seems a bit more far away than if you are in another place.
Yeah. It's a humbling but wild and kind experience. Yeah.
And it's easier to focus on the really important things in life.
Yeah. Yeah, and they really stand out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I think that's probably a part of why I'm really happy that my children gets to grow up here. Because it's another local community, and the sense of togetherness. It's quite strong. So I'm really happy about that.
Is Gotland different from other islands? So is it in the way of what you like about islands? Does it stand out in something? Because you know a lot of islands. You do a lot of trips to islands, working trips, and I guess you kind of know a lot of different islands.
I think they basically have a lot in common, but it's also unique, of course, and you have the whole history of being such a central place in the Baltic Sea with all the history with the Hanseatic fleet and so on. So this has never been an isolated place. And I think that means a lot. That basically the whole island is filled with an experience and kind of a cultural heritage point of view, where you're used to meeting a lot of new people and exchanging culture and so on. And even if the Hanseatic, it was a long time ago, you still have, it's deeply rooted in the culture. And of course, for me as a knitwear designer, and since I'm very much a person that's interested in cultural heritage and so on, it's very rich and very generous. There's a heritage to and the archaeology and everything. It makes it special. But on the other hand, I think it's more like perhaps not a different island, but a different personality. If I could, I often compare it to Shetland, because that's a place where I return on a regular basis with the walk and wool tours and so on. And I find it's kind of similar to the Shetland Isles when it comes to this proud generosity, and there's a kindness and an openness. In most cases, of course, not in all, but because we are different. Thankfully, we are all different, but there is a slow and generous pace here where you can take your time and get to learn people. And I think that's something quite unique, but I see it in other places as well. So probably you have a slight unique personality to the island, but on the other hand, you can also really recognize the island spirit kind of. And I think that comes to the independence and the pride. And then I think in some coastal areas, and I mean, if I compare it to the Outer Hebrides, there are so many islands with different personalities, so to speak, as well. So in some cases, I can see glimpses that reminds me of Gotland, but on the other hand, it's totally unique. So, but I think that when you're this remote from the mainland, you have more in common with other remote islands. So that's probably more of the likeness or unlikeness when it comes to other islands.
That might be true.
Yeah.
Because on the other island where I lived before, we had a bridge to the mainland, and it was similar weather, similar kind of living, but people were different. People were different, and maybe that's one of the points. They were not really remote.
No, you can leave.
It's like 40 minutes, you're on the mainland. So it's easy, and you can decide whenever you want to go. It's not like you have to book a ferry or a plane, or it depends on the weather, like here, because sometimes you're just stuck. Yeah.
I remember when we lived here like 25 years ago, that was my first experience of just realizing that there won't be any ferries for 2 days, because the weather decided there won't be any ferries, and that I felt so calm. And that's a sign. Very Tove Jansson, Moomin character of me, but I was kind of excited. I don't know for how long I would have stayed excited, but still. So it's also this adventurous side to being on an island. Yeah. And that's interesting, because I've never seen myself as an adventurous kind of person, but perhaps I am in some ways, throwing myself into the sea and so on, walking up steep hills, looking at sheep.
Seen from the outside, you're very adventurous.
Well, perhaps.
And you also grew up on an island.
Yeah, at least
island near Stockholm, right?
Yeah, I have my family from an island in the North Archipelago of Stockholm, and it was a quite famous family from the archipelago called Sjöblom. It's mentioned in some songs even, and so even if I didn't stay there during my school weeks and so on, I had my paternal grandmother and grandfather there, and I spent all the holidays and so on. So it's a very big part of who I am. I was taught how to row a boat and put the nets in, and all the things that kind of build your personality as a child. This is how you do things. So I think that's probably, while some of the island aspects are kind of, it's a part of me and my heritage as well, of course, because it's, with some words and some traditions that are very similar on all islands, probably, when it comes to the sea and weather and the year, and when the cod comes in the spring, and when you put in certain kinds of nets and certain kind of fish come, and certain kind of birds and so on. So, and that's not things that you think about much. It's so natural in your system.
You live with the seasons.
Yeah.
How it changes in nature.
Yeah. And I mean, my mother, she's from rural Hungary, but of course she still has the feeling of the seasons, and she's been in Sweden for almost 50 years, but there are some things that are really similar and some things are really different, and I think that's the amazing thing about being a human being. You have these different perspectives, and some things are similar and some things aren't. So yeah, and I mean the seasons are so obvious here. You can't ignore them. Yeah. Even if you try, you can't, because they will remind you.
What I really like about the people here, they all kind of live with the seasons and the weather and all the quick changes sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's such a big understanding in changing plans just because of the weather.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of you, which I met in the beginning. I talked about him with, what would you suggest for winter? What kind of tires should I buy? And he said, well, I would suggest spikes, but you can always just stay at home. It's like, well, how do you mean? Well, if a snowstorm comes, just stay home. That's how we do. It's like, aha. Well, that's an option too. Yeah, right. So maybe both. I really like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, just fill up your fridge and your freezer and everything will be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Firewood, water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yarn.
Just make yourself cozy.
Yeah.
Put the oven on.
Yeah. Yarn and coffee.
And that's actually how I did in beginning of January.
Yeah.
We had huge snowstorms here for days.
Yeah.
Exactly what I did. It was so good.
Yeah, and I think that's probably often a breaking point, because either you find a small sense of adventure and calmness in that aspect, or you think it's horrible.
It's horrible, yeah.
And I think I am a person that really enjoys to be able to plan, but this is also teaching me on a humble and kind of stern way at the same time that, well, you can't decide anything or everything. Sometimes you just need to adjust and, the here and now aspect of life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what really needs to be lived here. Otherwise it doesn't work.
No,
it just doesn't
you can
work.
try,
you
but
get
it doesn't
crazy.
work.
Yeah. And I'm a planner too.
Yeah,
I always was, like, really daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of the week was planned.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I kind of get really spontaneous here.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's good for us. It's different.
Good for us, and nice things happen then. You couldn't have planned. So, it's really a good way to get living here.
Yeah. And probably a lifelong practice. Yeah. Yeah.
So when it comes down to what your work is, because that is also a really big thing on how can you live on an island? What kind of work do you do? Is it working there? Can you work from there?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't. So you are a knitwear designer,
Yeah.
a book author,
Yeah.
teacher,
Yeah. And a tour guide in
and
ways.
a tour guide.
Yeah.
I just was thinking
Yeah.
of the right word.
Yeah. And it's probably just half of the truth, and I think that's also, that's kind of interesting because I do all of those things, and since we got here, I've also managed some different kinds of projects regarding crafts and language, actually, and so it's like ever changing, and I think that's very common here because people tend to have different occupations during the year, during the tourist season and during the calmer season. And I think that's also an interesting aspect because I find that what do you do for a living isn't the first thing that people ask here. It is on the mainland, but it's not here. But of course, what you do for a living is a big part of who you are. But there's a nuance to that, and that I find that really interesting because it's a question of how we define ourselves, of course. But on the other hand, when we moved here 11 years ago, soon, people asked me, so aren't you worried about your work life and what are you going to do? Because at the time, my husband, he worked at a museum in Visp. So he was kind of safe. And I was in between jobs because I managed a craft school actually in Stockholm. And then that school kind of changed and I realized that this is the perfect time to move. Because otherwise I will find something exciting to do in Stockholm.
But did you already write books back then? Or did you just start here?
Yeah, no, I started on the mainland actually, so I was kind of 2 books in when we moved. And that year, for some reason, I decided to make 2 books. On that first year, you're not supposed to do that. So there was one book published in the spring on paper crafts and one in the autumn on knitting. I won't ever do that again. That's very serious advice for me. Do not make 2 books in 1 year. So my work life at the moment is kind of, well, it depends during the year. And from March until up to October, I have a lot of tours on Gotland and Stora Karlsö, one of the larger islands just off the southwest coast of Gotland. But I also have tours to Shetland and the Outer Hebrides and Wales and the Faroe Islands and Yorkshire and Iceland and Lofoten, actually Norway. So I tend to go to other areas with a lot of sheep. Yeah, that's good. But I also have, since 1.5 years, I have a studio in the city center of Visp, and that's really good because I have a community of small companies working with culture in different ways, and I have this community and people to have lunch with, and because before that I had my office back home, so this is really good because I can also have visitors and groups and so on, and I think it's also the sense of belonging and just taking my dog and going to work. It's a good thing. But I really like the dynamic of my work life at the moment because I really enjoy teaching. I really enjoy being a part of another person's process, even if it's just brief for a couple of hours, or sometimes it's for 6 months or a year. I really, really enjoy that. But I really enjoy to work by myself, to write, to knit, to paint. And at the moment I get to do both, and that's I'm very, very grateful about that.
It's good when it's balanced if you do so many things.
Yeah. And I mean we do have that in common, that we do different things, and it's really rich.
Yeah, I really feel stressed if I have to do only one of these things for a long time, really intensely. It feels like I'm not really whole. It's something's missing then, or your lack of the other creative thing you actually want to do all the time. And you can't get the time for it.
Do you feel that your perspective on your work life and what you want to do have changed since you moved here?
Mm-hmm. And as you said, when I moved here, also the first question was not, what do you do for a living? What will you do for a living? I was like, huh? How did they know? How did they know that I think about changing something? That's really strange. So people, kind of expect that you adjust your life to the life on the island and what's possible here. So everybody expected me to do something with wool from Gotland. But I don't feel like that there's a necessity to it, because so many people doing something with it, and there's so many people who sell it and produce it. So it's no sense in putting one brand on top of it.
And at least no rush.
No. So in the beginning, I felt like, I don't know if I want to go on like before. And I thought maybe I'm just open for everything what happens and see what could be here. And then in the beginning of the year, it was like, well, my heart still is stuck on my brand in Germany, and I really, really want to keep it alive. So I thought about how to do it. And now I guess I found a really good way in a good compromise to not be involved in the same way I was before, because that was just pure stress all the time. And that was a decision when I came here. I don't want to have this stress in my life anymore. It's not worth it. Even if it brings in a lot of money, it's not worth it. Never, ever again. And so, I'd rather live with less money and more peace in my life. So, I guess this will be a good way to deal with it. And still being open to let or to allow changes if they appear.
When they appear. And I mean, peace.
Don't force it. I mean, because I really tried to think of something in January, February, and I was like, I don't know. I really, it could do anything, but I don't know. It doesn't, the feeling was not there. And then it just came, and then it fitted. So, just having this openness all the time. I mean, in general, in life, it's the best thing I ever experienced. And that's what happened when I moved here. You remember the first month? I mean, what happened in these first 4 weeks, you couldn't have planned it.
No.
It was not possible. It was like, I was just there, allowed life to happen, and it was amazing. Amazing. So, best proof ever. Just let it flow.
And I think probably that's just inspiration and peace. It's basically it's probably the currency of life in some ways. So you have this.
And it's the base of letting things happen. If you don't have the peace,
you don't have the openness
and the calmness. No, you're not able to see the things.
No. Exciting.
A lifelong adventure.
It is. It is. And I mean, it's so. I'm so grateful to be able to have that, to be able to have that to look forward to. I have this feeling that I can't wait to grow old here, and that's a lovely feeling.
Oh, that's a nice thought too.
Yeah.
But do you also sometimes? I mean, this openness brings something else with it. I mean, it's people from outside always call it bravery. But I mean, bravery always contains also fears, worries.
Oh, scared as hell.
Okay, good to hear that.
Of course.
Because I was like, it feels great to live this open life, but sometimes I could just scream. It's like, oh shit, what is going to happen if nothing appears? You know?
I know. And I think in some aspects, of my life, I have a son with a lot of challenges, with some disabilities and so on, and being his mother, which I'm utterly grateful for. It's also have taught me that, well, I think that's probably the C aspect of life, that you can plan. And I think when we realized he had a language disorder, I read an article and it said, so when you have a child with a disability of some kind, it's like that you pack a bag to go to a certain place for vacation, like going to Italy. Nice, 2 weeks. You pack your bag to go to Italy, but you get off the train in Holland. And I mean, it's really nice in Holland, but it's not Italy. And I think that that's taught me that I need to adjust. And I can really enjoy life in Holland as well. So I think that's taught me that I need to face that fear and somehow get strategies to be able to face whatever happens. But that doesn't mean that I'm not afraid. Of course I am. But I've also started to, I think, the past years, to be kind of proud when I realized that I actually managed to face things that comes up and things that happen in a good way. And that doesn't mean that it's easy, but I've given a lot of thought. Was it a wise thing to move here? Should things have been easier if we stayed on the mainland? You have all these thoughts when things get rough. But I also always land in that it was a good decision. And all the things that makes life here somewhat more challenging when it comes to healthcare. For example, we need to go to the mainland for some healthcare and so on. I mean, what I experience in terms of peace in my everyday life, it gives us so much as a family. It gives him so much as a person. And just that calmness and that sense of belonging, I think I come back to it every time, that it's so important and it makes all the difference. So even if it's not easy all the time, it's also always true and strong and safe in some way, even if it's not easy. Yeah.
And in a way, I mean, imagine you have a really boring life, every day the same, all your life at the same place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth the trip. It's worth the fears. It's worth everything which worries you if you... I mean, I kind of live for this up and down, this roller coaster. Yeah. I would die in a boring life.
Yeah. And sometimes I think I would really like to try boring life.
Yeah, but you only have these thoughts when you really feel down.
Yeah.
And the next day you're like, no way, I'm gonna try this.
No, and I mean, it's always, I have this really dynamic work life. It was partly because I needed to be able to help my son when he needed to and so on. And so it's been growing organically, so to speak, during the years. And I think it works really good. But we'll see, in a period of 5 or 10 years, perhaps I will have my sheep and a farm. But for now, this is great because I spend so much time traveling and so on. And I also have a lot of time to spend with my children. And I mean, my youngest one, she still kind of wants to spend time with me. She's still only 12, so I really enjoy that as well, to take her for long walks and look at the fossils and just being here. Yeah. But, well, I'm really looking forward to growing old here. See what's next.
All around the sheep.
Yeah, it's always.
beside the fact you're living here, or your job, you're doing your everyday doing, what is the thing which gives you a really deep sense of belonging, not only to the island, but in general?
I think it's probably in several levels and layers and so on, but I think I'm a very physical person, so I think it comes back to the seasons again, and to really be able to be really close to the elements every day, not just during the vacation or the weekends, but in my everyday life. And it doesn't matter what weather it is or the temperature, because we have wool. So we can just participate in every kind of storm. Or I think for me as a person, it's really important to just be in the landscape every day, to take part in the weather and wind and everything. It makes me feel alive, and it doesn't need to be an adventure, just to take a long walk by the sea with my dog in silence, just meeting her, being in the colors and the weather, and just, the rosy cheeks and the hair. You can't stay here if you're really cautious about your hair.
I know.
Yeah. That's how it is. Sometimes I feel like, there used to be a time where I actually could, have a proper hairstyle. Those were the days where
don't leave the house.
No, but I think that just being able to have that in my everyday life, it's on so many levels. Yeah, I had a foot surgery 6 months ago, which still makes me not being able to run and so on. But I think just every day being outside, weather and wind, run, swim, just sit outside for a couple of hours, and being able to have that every day on a regular basis, all year around, that makes all the difference. And I spent a lot of time outdoors when we lived in Stockholm as well. But I think the closeness to the sea makes all the difference on a spiritual level as well, and a physical level. And I think that's my main source for rest, for recovery, for inspiration, for everything. When it comes to designing and writing and painting and so on as well. Yeah.
When you go swimming, you do that all year round, normally.
Yeah.
I cannot understand that, but as you know,
we'll see.
I won't join you, you know that. Okay, I had a friend visiting in March.
Yeah.
It was really cold still.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I'm coming to Sweden. I would really like to try. I was like, are you crazy? I mean, it's March. It's cold. The water is really cold. I want to try. Okay, so we went there. She went in like it's nothing. And I was so impressed because really, I was really impressed. How can you do that? How do you get used to it? Sometimes I feel some bodies are made for it and some are not. Or did you have this challenge in the beginning too?
No, because I started when I was a child. I've always went in.
You kind of grew up with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the thing is, it's not in the body; it's in the mind, because it's only cold.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
So I think it's more of a mindset.
It's only cold.
Yeah. But I think that makes all the difference, because in the beginning, if you're afraid, it won't be a good experience. Even if you feel better afterwards and you have the rush of everything in the body and you get warm and you feel really excited, but as long as you feel scared when you get in and you lose your breath and everything, it's not a good experience. So but when you realize that, well, it's only cold and I can do this and it's not dangerous because we don't go into the sea when it's dangerous. It's a matter of respect for the sea and for ourselves. So as long as it's safe and you just take the deep breaths, and then the cold, it can be a friend as well. So I've had very good experiences, especially this winter, because of the foot and the surgery and so on. So you have the healing aspects. But I mean, I went in as a child because I really, really loved to go swimming. And I remember my paternal grandmother, she was just sitting, waiting with a towel like this, opened. And then she wrapped me in when I got up. But I mean, nowadays there are so much things you can have, the special robes and everything. Well, I have swimming shoes because I want to stay safe. And I often go alone swimming. I usually do, but not this winter. But and 2 times a week, I also attend the sauna we have in Visp. It's a really small one, and then you also always have company. But I think I'm very happy that people find these small things in life that makes them just happier or just a different perspective. And I think that's. It's good as long as it's not something you need to do to prove yourself. Because as soon as you do things not for yourself, but to prove yourself, there's another aspect to it. But on the other hand, I think it's so important. And I think this is a really important aspect to be a knitter, that you realize that you keep on evolving your whole life. You can still learn new things, even if you're 50, 60, 70 years old, you can still learn new things.
Yeah, that's true.
And I see that in the cold swimming, wild swimming community as well, that people realized, oh, I really enjoy this. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the sauna, if you go to the sauna, and you get new friends. And as a woman also, that you find another way to look at your body in some ways, that you can cooperate with your body and you can do things just because you enjoy them. They are not to make you look pretty or for someone else. It's just for you to go into the sea and to be in deep breaths, and you have the salty water and the wind, and then you get up and you dress slowly and put all your woolen stuff on, and you have your tea in your thermos, and it's a moment only for me. It's not nothing I do for anybody else. It's just for me, and that's kind of powerful and not that common if you think about it. But I mean, for another person it might be to go to the gym or practice yoga, but the fact that it's outside and it's in the element, it gives it something extra, I think, for me.
What happens exactly when you're in the cold water, especially in winter? You go in really quick, right? You don't.
It depends on the wind, actually.
Yeah, but because if it's really cold, it's just a quick dip.
Yeah, because I don't use a swimming suit or something. I actually, from February or March, I use a swimsuit because then people are around, and I also have something to protect my feet because it's kind of slippery and so on. But I mean, the thing is that it doesn't need to be at the coldest in January. Sometimes it's much colder in February or in March because of the wind. So sometimes I can stay in for 3 or 4 minutes in January, but I need to have a shorter swim. And sometimes I just go in for a dip. But sometimes you can actually go for a short swim when it's like 3 or 4 degrees. So it depends on the wind more than the temperature of the water. But again, I never know when I go to the sea if I will be able to swim. So it's always a question of wind and all the circumstances. So that's also humbling for a planning person. I think I will go for a swim. Yeah.
So, but what happens inside in the moment you're in the water? Is it like your mind is cleared up, or is there a lot of going on, or is it just a body feeling which you really enjoy? What is the main thing you notice?
I think it's there are very few moments in life when you're a healthy person, when you're completely in your body and in your breath. And I think it's probably when you're in pain, when you have sex or something like that, it's really physical. And that's a very important aspect of the swimming, especially during the cold seasons, because you really need to pay attention to the sea and to your breath. And then it gets really cold. And if you rush it, the cold can turn to pain. It's according to my experience. But if I just take it very slowly, calmly, and focus on the breath, it's a really calm and kind of gentle experience. And that's how I like it to be. So if I think that this might be too rough, then I go to another place if the wind is in a wrong direction or so.
Okay.
So I have this app that's probably developed for surfers. So I can see the wind direction and choose where to go swimming. But in general, it's the cold, the calm, and you're kind of surrounded by the cold and the calm and sometimes the dark. And it still feels really safe and kind.
It's like a shelter.
Yeah. And that's interesting when it's like 2 or 3 degrees. And then when it's below 2, I don't dip my head, at least if I'm alone. But otherwise, it's really nice to just be in that cold and dark and clear sea. For me, it's a sense of home in some way. Yeah. And then you get up, and sometimes you need to get down in again. But often, I mean, if you've been in for 3 minutes, it's quite enough during the winter. And you put on your woolen wear, and you have the deep breaths, and you just enjoy the moment for a while. So, and I think I had like 2 experiences during the years, which has been more painful. And it's always been because of the wind. And one time, because by then I didn't have contact lenses, I just had my glasses, and I put them in my running shoes. So I ran for 8 kilometers or something, and I put my glasses in the shoes. I went into the sea, and I went up, and then I managed to kick the shoe into the sea with my glasses.
No.
So I needed to get in again. And then I was so stressed because I wanted to collect the shoe. So that wasn't a pleasant experience. But I did manage to save the shoe and the glasses. I was very happy I was alone because it wasn't that dignified. But still, it was, so kind of adventurous. But it's nice. And sometimes I have company by my daughter, but not by my dog. And that's good. She stays, and that's really good because I don't want to worry about anyone else when I'm in the water and it's really cold.
So your dog doesn't like water?
No, she's a dachshund, and she's I used to have like a golden retriever, and they love swimming. But Britta, she stays on just guarding my shoes and my towel and so on. And she finds it quite irritating when I get below the surface because then I'm gone.
Where is she?
Yeah, and I guess the scent just changes, and then when I appear again, she's really happy. And that's nice.
That's a nice game.
Yeah.
Down, up,
yeah.
down, up. You can see her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
So, what I really like about living here is that we have so much culture here.
Yeah.
You can go on concerts even in winter.
Yeah.
We have cinemas here. And the music part of your life was big in the past too, correct?
Yeah.
So we have kind of the same love we went for first, before we changed to the wool, the sheep. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is.
What kind of music did you do?
I think at the beginning I went to like music class, and it was focused on classical music and mostly singing. So a lot of classical choir music, and we have this really rich choir tradition in Sweden. And actually, Gotland is the area in Sweden with most choirs in the churches and otherwise as well. But then, as I got older, I was very curious about folk music, so Swedish folk music, and also like early medieval music, and also Hungarian folk music, considering my heritage. And I managed to buy a Hungarian hurdy-gurdy, so I played some traditional Hungarian music, but mostly Swedish folk music, and like on festivals and weddings and so on. So I kind of long for time to dive into that again. But I think if I had any spare time at the moment to put into music, it would be a choir again.
Yeah, we wait for you.
Yeah,
actually,
that's good.
This one chair which need to be filled up, you know.
That's lovely. And I think it's so many things that reminds me of music in working in crafts and so on. But I really miss being a part of a choir. It's something really special.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah.
I never was in a choir before. I just need to sing in choir like on stage, but just to do it for fun.
Yeah.
It's such a nice experience, and the
it's
Swedish
also
people
really
enjoy and appreciate that. Yeah, it's really physical.
Yeah. So I think that's something I really miss about it. Just standing inside the music and being embraced.
A part of it. Yeah.
That's something I really appreciate.
That was so funny. In winter, the place we practice with the choir is quite cold in winter.
Yeah.
So everybody came cozied up in all the stuff, and we sat there in the beginning, and everybody was yawning at 5 o'clock because it was so dark already. And after these 2 hours, it was like ha ha ha! Everybody went up and had so much of energy. Yeah. It's really nice to see. Yeah. So I can kind of understand why, especially here where it's getting dark so early, you really long for experiences like that.
Yeah. And also, again, that togetherness.
Togetherness. You're not alone. You socialize. You fill it up with joy. Something nice which gives you joy. Yeah.
Because you started to attend that choir quite early when you moved.
At the second day.
Yeah, I remember that was. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, and I still love to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really mostly sing in Swedish, or is it?
No, we mostly sing in English.
Yeah.
And we now, I guess, this time we have 2 Swedish songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to learn language with music.
Yeah, it is. And it's another aspect as well. Especially when you have a background in music. It's like another kind of dialect in the tunes.
It goes
and so
in
on.
quicker.
Yeah.
It goes in quicker.
Yeah, the language,
because
but also the music. So
no, because the language goes in quicker because music is your language.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this. Was it during Christmas we spoke about Swedish Christmas songs? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I was dying.
That's when I really miss singing in a choir, because it's something else when you sing it together. Yeah.
And I mean, I know it might be the same feeling for the Swedish people like it's for me when I'm back home in Switzerland and sing these songs. Yeah. It's like you're so used to it. It's nothing special anymore. They're okay and nice, but you sing them. But for me, it was like a whole new world coming up with these new songs. Yeah. It's in some way they had a different mood. Yeah. Because you also have the feeling Swedish Christmas is different than a traditional Swiss one. That was really nice. Yeah,
and we have this whole package of tradition around Lucia and midwinter and so on. So it kind of blends with the folklore and the traditional Christmas and so on. So I also find that the Christmas music, it's really important to Swedish people. Even if you don't sing, you find the songs to be a quite large part of Christmas tradition. That's nice. And I think I haven't been thinking that much about it because music has been so important to me, but especially seeing the children grow up, just coming home and singing the songs and so on, and singing together and so on.
It's a nice tradition.
Yeah, it is.
But then you do a really funny thing here.
Just one?
Well, one of the funny things, which didn't really fit to Christmas. There was a big Christmas tree outside of Storyatorget. On the big market here. Yeah. And I didn't see it in real life, but I saw the tree in real life. And then I saw a video of our friend. Yeah. The crazy one. Yeah.
Which we love. Yeah.
And she was doing, with other people, she was not alone. She was doing the frog song dance around the Christmas tree. So this dance you also do around the midsummer.
Yes. As soon as we have something to dance around.
So, but I'm asking you too now. I asked a lot of Swedish people. Nobody can explain what is this song about?
No.
Why? Why the frog song?
Well, actually, I don't think it's even a Swedish song from the beginning. I think it's actually French.
What?
Really old one. And I think that it's not the same lyrics.
Can you sing it quickly?
No, I wouldn't.
No. Oh, come on.
No.
I really have to learn it. Come on.
This is
teach
horrible.
me.
No. So you mean that the one song we will sing on the podcast is about the small frogs?
So it's about small frogs.
Små grodorna, yes.
Små grodorna.
Små grodorna är roliga att se. This is actually terrible. And the thing is that...
it's nice that you mention it.
Yeah. But because I didn't know about this, and I think it's often like that when it thinks that it's so natural to you that
nobody can explain.
No. And I think it was just recently I realized that it's not even Swedish. I mean, it's the same thing with the meatballs and so on. So that's
correct.
Cultural heritage.
I was really shocked when I heard that in school. I was like, what? It's not Swedish?
Well, I mean, it's the Swedish meatballs are kind of different from other meatballs, but still the original...
From Turkey, they're coming.
Yeah.
They were imported.
So we collect good things.
Yeah. So,
and keep them close.
Mm-hmm. So, the song.
Yeah. Små grodorna är lustiga att se. Do you know the lyrics? The small frogs.
I get it, yeah.
Små grodorna är lustiga att se.
I know the melody.
Yeah.
How does it go on?
I can't remember at the moment.
What?
Små ej öron, ej svansar hava det. So no ears and no tails. Ej öron, ej svansar hava det. And then we have the sound. What do frogs say in Switzerland?
Quack.
Quack. Quack. Små grodorna är lustiga att se. Små grodorna är lustiga att se.
But that's all.
Okay.
Okay, I get that. I now have it recorded. I can practice.
Thank you so
thank
much.
You so much. So then afterwards we have to teach to dance.
No, sadly I can't.
No, you don't do the dance. You just sing.
Not with the foot. Well, but we have like a standard. Some songs that appear around Christmas and then around midsummer. But I think the thing about ringdans, you do that in Switzerland as well?
Not. I never did it. No.
Because
like
I mean,
that.
it's a fairly old tradition. We have that. We do have better songs without frogs. Just can't think of any at the moment. But I mean, we have this medieval tradition of kvad song. You know about that? When you dance and you sing together in a large group. You have that in Finland.
Okay, yeah, I know the general tradition.
Yeah. So I think it probably derives from that. And the thing is that when you play like Swedish folk music, it's a sad way to not being able to dance at the same time. So that perhaps I should also dance a bit. But that's also something I really like about visiting the Faroe Islands, for example, because they also have this really rich choir tradition and this really rich tradition in folk tales and in folk songs and in dancing. So that's also the similar tradition. But I don't think they have the frog song.
No, I don't think so.
Nobody
else has the frog song,
well,
I guess.
I wouldn't say nobody. We'll look into that and get back to you.
And there's a lot of traditions around midsummer.
Yeah.
I just heard about the flowers, collecting 7 or 9 flowers.
Yes.
Put it under your pillow the night before, and then you will dream about the love of your life.
Yeah, on Midsummer's Eve. Yeah.
But then you also have to jump 9 times over these Swedish fences.
Yeah.
So I really tried to find one which I could jump over, but it's really hard to find one where you don't get stuck. So
yeah, well, you will get stuck probably. But
that's the point. Okay. But how do you do it 9 times then?
Yeah. It's a challenge.
I just thought I maybe don't need to dream about it. So maybe I skip that.
No.
But some people really take it serious, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, the tradition of wearing this long white dress.
Also, jumping in a long white dress.
That's kind of a problem. So, I think it's one or the other, probably.
So when did you jump the last time?
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah, luckily. Well,
I met this one girl.
Yeah.
She told me about this tradition.
Yeah.
And she's in love, really happy since years, but she still does it.
Yeah.
It's like, but what for?
Yeah.
What if you dream about another guy?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, yeah, but it's just so nice to do it.
Yeah. Well, I do pick the flowers. And I mean, it's lovely here because we don't put salt on the roads during the winter, so the winter driving is kind of exciting. But the result is that we have a lot of flowers during the spring and summer. So there's a lot of flowers to use in different ways in bouquets and putting in your hair and so on. And I think that's also a really lovely way to learn about flowers, of course, and to work with colors and so on. So I really like the flower part. Not so much jumping. That's kind of brave or stupid, depending on how to look at it.
Depending on the fence.
Yeah, depending on the fence and the result of the dreaming. So we'll see. Yeah.
Can you use a trampoline, or you really have to jump by yourself?
But there are stairs, actually, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Just to make it when you don't have a gate. We'll find a fence.
I think I don't want to do the jumping.
But do you have any midsummer tradition from Switzerland?
No, there's no midsummer.
No. None at all? No summer celebrations at all? Is it like just you wait until harvest to have some
we
kind of...
We don't have a midsummer tradition. No. The only thing I did in the last years to celebrate this longest day of the year, I made my own ritual. Like with a dear friend of mine the last 5 years. We went out in a nice place in nature in the evening, and we made a fire, and we talked about our wishes, and sometimes we drew a card, and so just to have some kind of a ritual to celebrate, and that was really nice. So I do that also in the shortest day of the year in December. So that's kind of this 2 points in the year where I celebrated that, but not with a background.
No,
not a traditional, not even from Switzerland.
No, and we also call it, or I call it, and many people call it solvända, when the sun turns. So you have the
Sonnenwende.
Yeah. So I think it's an important day, and it's not a tradition on Gotland, but on the west coast of Sweden, you also always light a fire, a huge bonfire.
But it's not always on the one day. It's always on the weekend of this one day, right?
Yeah, so
that's what I learned.
So we have midsommarsolståndet, the actual sun. The
21st.
Yeah. And then you have the midsommarafton, which is, so it's some years it's the same day, but not always. This midsommarafton, as in the calendar, it's always the Friday. Yeah. Because we are Swedes, so we want to have things very,
compact and straight.
Yeah. You can tick the box. Yeah. And measure things.
I guess it's just so you can have a really big party.
Yes, of course.
And you don't have to work the next day.
Well, in some parts of Sweden, they've divided the week. So you have Midsummer Eve in different villages, and you can attend the party.
No way. So you have a week-long party?
Yes. I couldn't and wouldn't manage, but it's a tradition. in Dalarna, for example.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I thought it's always on the 21st.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. And it's a big one then, but you also have the ones before and after. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you arrange the party and sometimes you just attend. That's good.
Okay.
And otherwise it's a lot of music and a lot of food. So yeah, we really like
just
the celebration.
Life.
Yeah, celebrate life. Yeah. And light. Yeah. And the shift. Yeah. And I think that kind of really relates to the things we talked about earlier, about being a part of the landscape and everything. I think that's a part of our culture, to be present in the seasons at all times.
That's something what you really learn in Sweden when you grow up, right?
Yeah.
That's a really big part of being Swedish.
Yeah,
to
at least
really
if you
spend a lot of time in nature. Yeah.
If you come from a family where you spend a lot of time outdoors, even if you, as a rural family, or if you live in the city and you go to your parents' place, or you just find ways to just live with the seasons, I think. And I know that many people miss that when they move to a city, and they tend to go back to where they were born just to celebrate the turning of the seasons.
Okay.
But I think we're different. And some people, they have another kind of way to build their year wheel, or so to speak. But for me, it's really important. I think it's also, the start and an end, and a start and an end. I think it's, for me, it's good.
It gives some sort of structure.
Yeah.
In a really natural way.
Yeah. Yeah. And the rhythm. So back to the music.
Back to the music.
Yeah. But not to the frogs. I don't even like frogs.
Oh, you don't?
No. Well, I don't dislike them, but they're not my top 5 animals.
Well, maybe we should made up a sheep song for occasions like that.
Yeah, but we do have one. Bä, bä, vita lamm. You haven't heard that one?
No. Oh, so we have another song.
Yeah.
Bä, bä, vita lamm.
Yeah. So bä, it's what the sheep says in Swedish. What does it say in Switzerland? Well, they probably do in Sweden as well, but we say they say bä. So we have this children's song about the white lamb and how the lamb gives up us the wool for father's coat and so on.
Okay.
I will teach you this one. It's good. It's good. So we have the frogs, but we also have the sheep.
Could make an animal show now.
Yeah.
The crazy knitting lady with the animal
with the
songs.
frogs and the sheep. Yeah. So, and now to something completely different. I really need to look into those frogs.
Sorry that I brought it on the table.
No, but it's so interesting. Where do they come from? Yeah.
What I really find interesting is that, you know, I can ask people in school, my teachers, who know a lot of stuff, but not enough. And I ask all the people I know here so many things. Why do you do that or that? Or why is it like that? Oh, I don't know.
No.
We just do.
Yeah.
But you never questioned it? It's maybe, if you think about it, it's a bit strange.
Yeah.
Well, now if you say it, but no, I don't have an idea.
Nobody questions the frogs.
So funny. No, it's not about only the frogs.
No.
It's so many things which are, which just stand out if you're not from here.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they do it, but they all do it, but I don't get it.
No.
I just don't get it.
Oh.
I like to get things to understand.
I know. We will look into the frogs. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Promise.
Good.
Yeah.
I will also ask my teachers. Maybe they have an explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
But I was wondering, now that you haven't been here a whole year yet.
No. And I never was here in summer.
No. So have it met your expectations yet?
Mm. But I have to say, I didn't have big expectations.
No.
Because when I decided to move here, it was a feeling. My whole body screamed at me last time I was here. It's like, you have to be here. I didn't know why. I didn't know what I'm going to do. I didn't know where to live because everybody said, oh, it's so hard to find something to live in. And it was just a feeling. And this feeling was there from the first day that it's just good to be here. And I feel good here. So that didn't change. And then life showed me that it's really good to be here because it offered me so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, as everybody says, the summer is amazing. The summer will be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also so exciting because the first year, so much is a first time. Mm-hmm. The first midsummer and the first Easter and everything. So it's lovely to be a part of that. And perhaps to be able to show you some of my favorite places during different parts of the year and so on, because it's so much to explore during the year and so on. So again, I'm really looking forward to just growing old here. It's so much to experience.
And I mean, the island is so big.
Yeah,
it's so big. I guess you didn't see everything yet, right?
No, but I've seen a lot. But I've also found that I really need to come back to places. And I mean, now it's during winter, and there are almost it's a bit above 60,000 people living here. Almost 70,000 sheep. That's a good ratio. It's about 12% of the whole sheep population of Sweden. So I think during winter and so on, it's so calm. We can go almost everywhere, and due to allemansrätten, we can walk along the sea and so on. It's so generous.
Yeah.
And I mean, since it's ever changing, I really like to go back to places to revisit them, and
also in different seasons.
Yeah,
it's so
over
nice
the
if
year
it changes,
and different times of during the day, and make a fire and really experience, and that's, for me, that's a big part of being here. That it's always nice to travel back home, because before, when I was going to leave Shetland, it felt really bad, and now it feels, I mean, it's always a bit sad to leave because you tend to fall in love with people and places, but I know that I have somewhere lovely to return to, and also that Shetland will still be there when I return. So that's
not
also
gonna disappear.
No, and I think that sense of belonging is also, it strikes me every time that, oh, I belong here. I belong to this place, and if I can in some small way give something back to Gotland, I would be very happy and thankful. So I really want to belong, and that's also, it's kind of hard in one way because it makes you vulnerable, but on the other hand, it's really lovely to want to be part of something. And I think that we need that as a person to belong to something, to this sense of belonging to community and friendship and family and everything, but also to the actual place. And that's really strong on this island for me, and I think for you as well.
Yeah, but I always felt like I never had like this feeling of home before I actually moved to Rügen.
Yeah.
That's where I felt home first.
Yeah.
And before I always was searching for it because my actual home base from my childhood didn't feel like home all the time. I always felt like I have to search for something else, and was mostly all about people.
Yeah.
Sure, it's important that you feel really comfortable and good where you live, and but here it's different. That's true. Yeah. So even in the beginning, when I just had like you and two other people more close, it felt like, I can just go out and it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm calm, peaceful, and
yeah. And it's just as you said in the beginning, you take this deep breath and you kind of land. Yeah. And
the breath takes you. I really remember when I came back after my month in Germany, when I came here in September, spent the whole month here. Then I needed to go back for around 4 weeks. It was almost. And then I came with another car full of stuff, and I was really exhausted after the ferry arrived and was late in the evening. And I went down to the car in the ferry when it said, okay, we're soon gonna arrive. And I fixed the belt and sat there ready to go off the ferry. It was like, wow, I really can feel it. It was so amazing. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's like there are really many small arms reaching out for you and just surround you with a really calm feeling. And then you're like, I can let go. And letting go was so hard for me all the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And here it's much more easy. Also letting go of old stuff, old internal traumas, processes, everything comes up again, surely, but it's easier to face it and easier to process it in a way.
Yeah.
Because this general feeling here is so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's like an island embrace. In some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we're home.
Yes. I guess we're home.